Hi y'all, it's Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack, and we're back here today with another challenge video. So let's get to the craft desk and get started, and I'll tell you more about it in just a few minutes. Alright, here we go with DIY number 1. Now for this DIY, you're going to need a clock of some sort or clock pieces. You can purchase those from Michael's, but I chose to get this old clock from the thrift store, and I'm going to take the back off and take this completely apart. Now I take the 4 screws that are holding this back on. Now I'll save that frame for another project, and I'll save this back for a project. Now the first thing I did is test the clock to make sure it worked. Now you want to be very careful in taking these apart. This little part on the front that you can't see now, you've got to twist that, but you've got to hold the back of the clock part at the same time. Now when you take this apart, you want to make sure that you keep your hands in order to the face of the clock, and then you're going to need some type of tool to get that last little nut off, and then after that you should be able to pop that out. You want to be really careful not push on that really hard, because it will affect how that clock works after that. So you want to be really careful. Now I took the washers off the inside and the front face of the clock, and we will now put this board back with the frame and use it for another project. Okay, I found this windmill at a garage sale quite a while back, and what I'm doing here is I'm trying to find a drill bit that will be the same size as my clock part that needs to go into this. So I put me a piece of wood down to put this windmill on, because when I saw it, I knew that I wanted to make a clock out of it when I saw it at the garage sale. So what I'm doing is I'm making a smaller hole first, and then I'm going to make a bigger hole so that that clock piece will fit through there. Now I go through and drill one side of it, and then I go back and drill the other side of it, just to make sure that I have everything the same size. Now here's where I ran into a problem. My little clock piece, the spindle that goes up and holds the clock hands and stuff, when I went to go put it through there, it's not going to fit because there's too much space in there. So what I did is I went and got me a washer, a big washer out of my husband's stuff. Y'all don't tell him. And I'm going to trying to compress this metal some so that it fits this clock piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one washer on one side, and then I'm going to take a bolt with a washer on it, and I'm going to stick it through the bottom side, and I'm going to try to pull this thing tight. Here I go. I'm sticking the bolt with that washer on it through the bottom side. It's actually on the front side. And then I'm going to take and put the larger washer on the back side. And then if you've got a shorter bolt, this works better, because then you don't have to screw this all the way down. But I'm going to screw this all the way on, and I'm trying to get it where y'all can see it. And I'm going to tighten it down. And I'm just going to keep tightening this down until I get those two pieces of metal closer together so that I can put that clock piece in there. Now, after you get that tightened down on there, then you can take it back off and look at there. Now my little clock piece fits in there, and I can start adding the hands and the parts back to my little clock. Now you want to go in reverse order when you put these back on, and then tighten everything down hand tight. It really doesn't, this piece right here is probably the only piece that needs to be tightened down by using a tool. Everything else should just be hand tight after that. Now after I get that piece tightened down, then I'm going to put the hands and everything back on it like it's supposed to be, and I'm setting it for the time. Now, I was debating as to whether or not to put numbers on this. Now, I know I got the 3, the 6, the 9, and the 12 that I could put numbers on. The rest of them would have to be something else, left blank. As for this DIY, this is going to be, I'm going to call this finished, but y'all let me know if you would put the numbers on it or if you would just leave it just like it is. I kind of like it is, but some people might like numbers on it. I don't know. Y'all leave me a comment below. And this is a third Thursday thrift flip hosted by the Rusted Willow, Rustic Chicks Designs, and co-hosted by the Farmhouse Frugally. This thrift flip happens every third Thursday. Y'all go check out those ladies, and their link to their channels is in my description box. There's also a link to a playlist where many other crafters are participating. Go check them out because they're doing some awesome crafts over there, and you don't want to miss them. Now here we go with DIY number 2. Now for this, you're going to need some blinds. Now these come from, I get mine from the Restore, and this is a pair that I have bought a while back. Now you take those little buttons off, and then that loosens all your little blinds off of your thing where you don't have to do anything else to it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out, I have this little wooden heart, and I'm going to use this as a guide and cut out all my little pieces. And you see I already cut out some of them already, and then I'm just making sure the end of it's cleaned up. These cut really easy with a utility knife. And then when you see me lay these pieces back out, it'll lay out and it'll look just like a heart. Now I always keep a wooden pattern on hand of everything I do. That way if I want to do it out of the blinds, I can. Now what you see me doing here is I'm cutting some little strips so that I can attach my blinds together to make one of those little wooden hearts. Now see, I have to get really creative around here because Dollar Tree doesn't carry everything that all these other Dollar Trees that I see everybody else having. And so I have to come up with ways to make my own stuff. I guess that brings out the creativity in me. I don't know. Anyway, I cut all my blind pieces and I'm sticking them on here now to see where I need to cut them off and to make a little attachment for that bottom one. Now the next thing I did is I cut me some two-sided tape and put it on these long strips that's going to attach everything together, and I'm going to peel off the backing off of that. And yeah, I messed that up. And I'm going to make sure that that's stuck on there. Now that's not going to hold this together permanently. What that's going to do is hold it together temporarily until I can get all the pieces glued in place where I want them. And I'm going to just place them. I'm going to stick a little blind piece that I cut off in between the two so that I get them the right distance apart. Then once I get them everywhere I want them, then I'll hot glue them down, or you can use E600 if you want this to be permanent. Now the next thing I did is I traced me out a little heart, and I'm out of onto material, and then I cut it out. Now what you see me doing here is I'm fraying the edges of it so that it will have a more rustic feel to it. Then the next thing I do is I trace me or draw me in another little heart on the inside of this, and I'm going to cut this out, and I'm going to save that little heart that I'm cutting out for another project. And then I'm going to go around the inside of this heart right here and fray the edges of it too. And then once I get that frayed, then I'll glue everything into place. You just see me checking it here before I fray it, and then I'll glue it in place. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little napkin, and I am going to take this little word that says love, and I'm going to take my glue stick and put glue all over the top of this, and then I'm going to put the napkin on and do the burn method. Now before you start doing any burning, you want to poke holes in all your little bitty spots, and then you want to make sure you trim it up really good. That saves you from having too many charcoal edges on it. And then you're going to burn out the centers of that. And then we will take and clean this up and glue it on our project. Now don't try that without having water around, because you don't want to burn everything up. Now the next thing I did is, now my heart's got the little denim piece glued down. I'm going to take that little kid's headband that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to just slide it on there. Then I'm going to take my love word and I'm going to glue it down. And then after that, I will glue that little white clothespin on the side right there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, I've got this little cording that came off of something else that I had, and I'm going to take and glue this down along the edge of the little strips that I put in the back. And if you glue it right there, it kind of makes it look more clean looking. And I'm just going to glue that down, and then that will be our hanger. And we'll see the rest of this at the final reveal. Now, at this time, we'd like to give a special thanks to our subscribers. We love you bunches, and we thank you for subscribing. And here we go with DIY number 3. Now, for this DIY, I found this little heart sign, I guess is what you call it, from the thrift store. It was 99 cents, and I got it for half off. I thought that was a pretty cool deal. So I said I could figure out something to do with this. Now I'm just trying to decide what to do. So the first thing I did is, I've got out my stencil that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just tracing out the letters for the word love. Then what I do is I go through the rest of the letters, and I'm trying to improvise and make them say love makes us family, and I'm using all the different letters on the stencil. That's why I didn't just stencil in the word love. And so I'm going through picking out all the letters, and if I can't get all the letters, I'm making up some of the letters with the pieces that I've got. I take the Posca paint markers, and I am going to trace in all of the letters in black on here with my marker. And then after I get all of that wrote on there, I am taking some of these Dollar Tree hearts, and I'm gluing some on one end, and then I'm going to glue some on the other end. We'll see the rest of this at the final reveal. Now here we go with the final reveal. Alright, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and these turned out absolutely adorable. Look at that little love sign with the denim on it. I think that's my favorite out of all the projects. Y'all leave me a comment below on what else you would do to that clock, because I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, it needs some more stuff, but you know, I'm not sure what to do with it. So at this point, it's just sitting down here on the floor waiting for me to come up with something creative. Anyway, if you don't want to miss the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack, subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you like our videos, share them so that YouTube will promote our videos even more. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye.
Yes, we are. Then it causes me to be more creative. Yeah, about that. So the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye.